Rated N for nobody. Sorry folks, that's as far as it goes. Gotta get back to work on my own animation project. It's taking forever and I don't think I'm doing the original animation much justice here. So another stupid update video, which is why I inked and colored the original Sonic Mania animation trailer thingy to have something, at least something worthwhile to contribute in this video. So for those who just came for the cartoon, the rest of the video is just me and Luke jabbing casually, so see ya. E3, Sonic Forces, plenty to talk about, but let's go through E3 in general first to create the illusion we can talk about more than just Sonic. Luke, your thoughts?
Being a Star Wars fan, EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2 looks interesting as it will include all three eras of the Star Wars movies, from the Clone Wars to the Resistance against the First Order, and there will be a story mode which will be about the fall of the Galactic Empire and what happened between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. The Battle of Theed gameplay looks impressive and reminds me of the times I used to play that stage on the original Battlefront games. But of course, this is EA, where you only get half the game and the rest is DLC or something.
I played the first Star Wars Battlefront at a friend a week ago. The new first Battlefront, that is. Looks great, but I hate online gaming, constantly waiting, and the gameplay's mostly you getting hopelessly killed by superior super gamers. Unless the new Battlefront 2 has single player, I'm out. Love how the Theed Royal Palace looks like though.
The new trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 looks good. Being as it's in Japanese, I kinda made up my own plot, where Hades tells a really bad joke to Pete and Maleficent, and Xemnas is rambling about light and darkness whilst telling Sora to pull his finger. Also looks like Xemnas spilt Goofy's pint, so he's gonna sort him out by taking him round the back and punch his teeth out. Forget the angry Luigi stare meme, we need to make freaking pissed off Goofy a thing.
Those Disney characters always look wonderfully out of place with the rest of Kingdom Hearts. I have to really get used to seeing them so hyper-real HD. They look so smooth and weird, plasticky, I don't know. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3, love how Hercules' world looks like. They're finally doing something new with that. It's great.
And of course, there's Nintendo. They really stepped up their mark here, but after so many years, they brought back Metroid with Metroid Prime 4 and Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS, which is a remake of Metroid 2 and might explain why they copyright claimed the Metroid 2 fan game. Fire Emblem Warriors looks alright, the twins look irritating and the dialogue is cheesy with the "we could do it" and "pair of friendship" stuff, but if they add in Ike, Lynn, Hector and Roy, I'm sold.
Japanese with their power friendship stuff. Although I prefer that over America's tendency to be hyper self-aware all the time. And yeah, with Metroid they scored a few brownie points with me. I had little respect for them for a while, but they're shaping up again. It's great.
Also, wow, that Mario Odyssey game looks amazing. I like how they went back to the sandbox Mario games, and it kinda has that 90s Mario nostalgic feeling. Kinda like Super Mario Land with the pyramids and Easter Island heads. Mario now has odd-job abilities where he can attack enemies with his demonic hat, and he can be like Mr. Ben where he can be an explorer, a chef, a 1930s mobster, and a mariachi. Was Mr. Ben ever a mariachi? I can't remember.
Mario looks amazing. Love the energy and look and everything. Although the changing art style is a bit weird. Sometimes super cartoony, sometimes drab and serious. City's still the best looking part.
But what his main gimmick is that with his new hat powers, he can now possess anything and anyone, from people to enemies, cars, and a freaking dinosaur. Seriously, think of the first thing that pops into your head. You could be a Mario version of that.
Although I'm not sure if I'll like that gameplay style. Hope it won't distract too much from the core platforming. As for me, nothing super interesting on the E3. Yakuza's still awesome, still waiting for Cuphead. Beyond Good and Evil 2, I'm so glad I'm not a big fan of the series, because I would be pissed if I waited for a cliffhanger to be resolved after 14 years just to get a prequel. Different characters, different tone. Start to wonder why they even bothered making a sequel. The steampunk animal world is cool though. Reminds me of this French comic I got. Wakanda! La Île de Chine, Sing, or something. Okay, fine. Let's go into Sonic. So yeah, Sonic Mania. Not much to say about it. I pretty much knew exactly what it was going to be from the first trailer on, and that's what it is. Nice and refreshing to have a Sonic game that's just, a Sonic game. It's what it is. But yeah, so there's little to talk or discuss. In fact, I'm kind of avoiding new information mostly, since at this point it does little to spoil the game. I have full faith that it'll be just like the classics and more. The only additional thing I was wondering is how much, if any, flair and bells and whistles it would have. Would it do the Sonic CD intro and have a theme song? But I think it's safe to say now that it won't, considering they had to hire an animator and license a song just for the trailer alone. So that's a shame, but yeah, whatever. Didn't really expect it, was just curious. It'll be a great game and fun to play. So, looking forward to that in August.
Now onto what I saw of Sonic Forces. Throughout the gameplay, the other characters are there, but they constantly keep talking to you through the radio, which reminds you of the final boss fight of Sonic Generations with all the homing missiles talk. I feel it might be a bit annoying and distracting, but at least you get to see your favourite characters trying to motivate you on and tell you what to do. Although I feel like this is all they are going to do. I feel like they could have been given more to do, like maybe see them in the background running out of a factory they just blew up, or maybe see them fight robots telling you to go on ahead. I suppose you would see them do that in the cutscenes, as well as briefing the two Sonics and the custom character like generals in a war room telling you to go out and die for your country.
It's so weird to see the cast say, actual lines. I guess the Pontifian qualities of the dialogue have been toned down, although I did spot it. Particularly Tails being a smug and grammar Nazi type again during the Eggman boss fight. Anyway, yeah, the talking. I hope you can turn it off when you replay this stage. Sonic still kind of plays like an arcade game where you want to replay the same level over and over again to get a better score or get all the red coins. That'd be headache-inducing if you constantly have to hear the same dialogue over and over.
Very interesting that they decide to have villains from previous Sonic games band together, like the finale of an animated series where they decide to work together to sort out the hero once and for all. Who else could they add? King Arthur? The loading screen from Sonic 06? The barrel from Carnival Night Zone?
Carnival Night's barrel is already killed off in Sonic Lego Dimensions, although that isn't canon, so I suppose they could do a do-over. In fact, I suppose I should note these ideas down for a future parody.
And then there's the new villain, who's, judging from the symbol, is called Infinite. I feel he is Eggman's second in command, an enforcer like Darth Vader. Even his look is a bit like Vader's, although he looks more like a certain Pokemon whose name escapes me. He's probably responsible for merging all the dimensions together, and if I know my 3D Sonic games, he's probably the true mastermind behind the whole thing and has brainwashed Eggman and Shadow to be his puppets whilst pretending to serve them. Or he was working with Eggman and he betrays him near the end. But I am liking how it is shaping up so far.
Possibly mind control comes back. Okay, so gameplay looks fine so far, except for one detail I'll go into later. But yeah, Green Hill Zone's looking much better. Nice intensity with all the crushers. Exactly the kind of stuff I want to see with Eggman in charge and tiny woodland critters climbing into the machinery. I love what they're doing. I think there's a great possibility we can get some awesome things out of this. So far, all of Sonic Force's ideas and concepts are great. I think, or at least they can be amazing and fantastic if they're properly executed, and that's where we touch upon the problem. Okay, so the story. Ever since I started my Sonic Dissected series, I often get emails with people showing off what stories they want to write to Sega for the next game. Like that would ever happen, but never mind. I do notice one theme returning a lot, though. Fans always want to fix things, even more so than really tell a story. That often seems to be the main running theme to the narrative. Iron out all the little plot holes and figure out what's canon and not by having to go through all the past adventures again to some capacity. That's what the story-driven fans want the most. Fix all those pesky plot holes and inconsistencies. And then recently, Sonic Team head Iizuka started to mention that he had this concept in his head about different dimensions with Sonic, that classic Sonic and modern Sonic are in different dimensions. Well, not so much classic and modern Sonic, but more that there's one Sonic in a human world and one in a flicky-infested world. And now we get Forces that seems to be all about dimensions, and classic Sonic is officially mentioned to come from a different dimension. So, they're really opening Pandora's box here, aren't they? That's That's where we're going with this, right? This is it. Gonna bring in this animal dimension and human dimension concept in full glory in this game to the foreground, huh? I fear this story could become very comic booky, if that makes sense. You know, comic books with their reboots and alternative dimensions and retconning. This is going to be a spring cleaning story, won't it? Establish what's what and possibly reboots, retcon, or utterly abandon bits and pieces from the franchise. I don't know if that will happen, but if anything, they're definitely putting themselves into that position. And such a comic book style story is definitely interesting, considering there's the rumors RG comic writer Ian Flynn is helping out. Because damn, look at all the cans of worms they're opening here. Once again, we got modern and classic Sonic, but apparently it's a different classic Sonic from Generations. Then there's a ton of characters that have a lot of lore and history baggage dragging along with them, like Silver, Chaos, Zavik, Shadow. They all have long histories and complicated context that need to be addressed. And then presumably there's a classic Tails, Eggman, Knuckles, and Amy as well, not to mention the new characters. Actually, I think Weber recently mentioned Sonic is the only classic character appearing, hence why classic Eggman isn't in the villain lineup, so never mind. Well, like classic Sonic 1's already feeling like a sore thumb in this game already. If you were hoping for the cast moving into the classic universe to fight the war there too, I guess that won't happen. So this game only takes place in modern Sonic's universe, with the humans in a realistic setting. Except the game has Green Hill Zone and Chemical Plant Zone and Animal Warriors. So modern Sonic is the only one that exists in the classic universe, and I guess classic Sonic is the one from the human universe. Wait, what? No, but then, no, I okay, so So, as I was saying, the story of this game is opening up Pandora's box when it comes to this comic book dimension canon stuff. So this will be a fun puzzle to figure out. I'm sure Sonic Team isn't going to make Sonic's canon that was already a headache-inducing mess even more complicated, right? You know, all those details that nerds will be endlessly fighting over and demanding an explanation for? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's impossible to explain away. It's very easy to excuse everything away. But still, it just keeps piling on this giant pile of exposition forces will need to be fighting through. I'm a little worried. That's a lot of stuff. Izuka mentioned the story would be more thick this time. Yeah, no freaking kidding. Is that why everyone's talking during the levels? Because we have 5 hours of exposition to sit through to get all this stuff sorted out? We go from the Colors era with its excuse-detached meta, random shit happens because video games shut up mentality, to a mountain of lore and character stuff. So much that it will even make Sonic 06 tell forces to take it easy. So now we are in between two extremes. Either they'll go thoroughly through all this stuff and we get a giant bloated mega story that no matter how hard the writers will try and do their best, fans will always be digging up some plot holes and freak out over every minor detail that doesn't quite work out because that's fan people for you. Or they continue their modern Sonic attitude about it and just provide a basic surface level explanation that just mostly boils down to, it's a video game, shut up, who cares? Which will keep the game more focused and more well-paced and more friendly for people who are kind of new to Sonic, casual fans, but it will piss off the fans they're trying to attract with this story focus a million times worse than any plot hole could ever do. So between those two extremes, where are they going? And then there's my personal pet peeve with the 2D to 3D ratio. This game is constantly sold to us as the next 3D Sonic game, yet so far 5 levels have been revealed, and a total of 1 of those 5 levels had actual proper 3D. And then only half of that damn level, because even just giving me 1 goddamn 3D level is too much, apparently. Well, there's the crap chase, I guess, but that seems more like a scripted minigame thing, like the sidestepping in colors. So I'm really hoping this is a skewed ratio, and it will be better later in the full game. Because I do remember Sonic Generations didn't really introduce its 3D sections until the 3rd zone. It's real 3D section, not the corridor stuff. But then we have Sonic Colors that completely dropped the pretense of being an alleged 3D game after the 3rd zone and was a giant middle finger to 3D fans for the rest of the game. And then Lost World's first level also barely represents the rest of the game. See, this is why it's so frustrating to only see the first levels represented in the marketing so far. First levels of Sonic games haven't been real representations of the rest of the game, especially since Colors. The games are always tricking me to thinking I'm playing a different game that it isn't. Yeah, so where with Sonic Mania, there I don't want to see the later levels, that's just spoilers. I know what the game's like, what it's doing, so I'm more than happy to trust the game to keep that design and quality, and I'm willing to buy the game blindly. I know the later levels will have the same general quality as the first couple levels, but with Forces, I really want to see the footage of the later zones. Here, I will be carefully observing every level we see, because with modern Sonic, you never know what game you're playing until you're halfway through. I mean, listen to this. Weber gives us a wonderful insight in Sonic Team's thinking.
So we're switching to a side scrolling.
Yeah, did you see that? Yeah.
Seamless, nice.
Exactly. It's a lot like Generations, a lot like Colors. And we're looking at, like, what did people really enjoy? What were the best moments for 3D Sonic?
What were the best moments in 3D Sonic? Oh, the parts that are in 2D! Yeah. So why the hell don't you just make a 2D game then? Or, get different people to give you feedback on a 3D Sonic game. Like, people who actually like the 3D part of a 3D Sonic game? How's that for a crazy idea, huh? You don't think people like the 2D sections a lot because they just wanted a 2D game, and now that we have Sonic Mania, that desire has been reduced? Or if, hey, become an entirely different style game that is alien to what your game is actually supposed to be, if that's the best feedback on your 3D Sonic game, maybe it's time to rethink the entire foundation of the game from scratch? No? You don't think this fucked up logic is causing all the confusion, paranoia, frustration, and lack of identity from the fan base? I mean, we're not talking about adding a handful of 2D parts in a 3D game here. We're talking about adding a handful of the actual genre your game is supposed to be in a game that's largely something completely different. This is like calling Final Fantasy VII a racing game because you're on a motorcycle at one point. But no, it's the best parts, huh? Alrighty then. Anyway, sorry for the outburst. In the end, it doesn't matter too much. Even as a 2D game, it looks fine. I just really wish they could be more honest or open or smart. Game looks fine. We'll still buy it and have a good time. But if Sega really wants to regain customers' trust, maybe being more honest would be a nice start, huh? Kinda hard to take you serious this way.